It is time for another follow-up ramble. Unfortunately, I have to do this, my friends, but we're going to go in the comments section. This feels like deja vu. I'm going in the comment section and I'm going to address at least what's happened in the past like 4-ish hours in the comment sections, talking about apparently a controversial, I mean, I know it's controversial because I've been on Reddit, but a controversial take on the Duke mining nerf and people saying I have no good arguments against it. Like, I feel like it would have been patronizing in the previous ramble to start stating why clicking once for 60,000 free mining XP overnight is not healthy for the game. But we'll go into it. Okay, so drop a like if you enjoy it. Drop a dislike if you hate me and you just hate all my takes. And let's get into it. All right. So I guess we'll just start from the beginning. This is just in order of what YouTube does. So a new block slot is absolutely okay. Yeah. So we're gonna try to avoid the main stuff on Gluffer, and we're gonna try to talk about the 6-hour stuff. The real crime was them not adding a 6-hour log AFK agility method. Like, I know this person's trolling, but it's okay. Like, it's just a troll comment, but you got to add like the /s in there because people literally do not see that as sarcasm anymore. Like, you might be being sarcastic, but people unironically want a 6-hour log AFK agility bet. Like, it's scary how far we've strayed from Sarah Doman's light. All right. I think the Duke thing highlights a bigger problem in that mining properly just doesn't feel worth doing. A lot of skilling these days for a lot of players comes down to having the level to check off a box on diaries and then a max cape. Okay. Yes. I mean, clearly there are issues in skilling. I have been hammering down on this point for a couple years now. I mean, seriously, we need to reestablish skilling. It's so boring. I don't want to make a whole ramble on that. Like, I could literally make an entire 45-minute ramble just talking about this, but I've talked about it in other rambles, and I'll continue to make more videos just addressing this. But yes, that is a problem. Skilling is boring as fuck throughout the game, generally speaking. There are some good updates, don't get me wrong, but generally speaking, people don't want to skill because it's unrewarding, unfun, not challenging at all, not engaging at all, and people at this point are so sick of that they end up wanting just something that's the most AFK thing possible because it's so unbearable to just do a normal skill the proper way. So let's see what the reply is. The amount of people that do Questcape and never skill after is an incredible amount. It just tells how bad late game skilling is. Yeah, I mean, there's a great point here. I'm not disagreeing with this at all whatsoever. But that's not like, this is not an excuse to just like, oh, because skilling is not in a great state right now, we need to start coming out with 6-hour botting methods. So he's not saying that, but I hope that's also clear what I'm saying. Yes, there is a problem that needs to be addressed, but that doesn't mean the solution or any band-aid fix is to just have it fully fine to come out with 6-hour botting methods. I think the 6-hour mining was too much, but think it should be reduced to like 25 minutes or something. This change just leads to people griefing. Guardians of the Rift and Shooting Stars aren't all that great at the moment with multiple people. I agree with this as well. Jagex's decision was to make it 5 minutes and then your guy stops mining. I would literally be okay if it was 25 minutes and your guy, because I think 25 minutes is the RuneLight timer. I'm literally okay with 25 minutes of one click. I'm seriously at that point where that's okay. But preventing the logout and being able to do it for 6 hours straight is way too far. I am perfectly content with somebody that's like, hey, I'm going to get off of the computer for 25 minutes. Let's try to find something I can AFK. Let's go to Duke real quick. And let's get 4.5k mining XP just for those 25 minutes. That's totally fine. I'm totally in agreement with that. And I actually think the 5 minutes was too much of a nerf. So I am in full agreement with this. 25 minutes, and then your guy stops mining, and you would need to click again to start mining again. That is perfectly fair. Yeah. I mean, yeah. The thing that worries me is that people just auto-click, but that's an entirely other topic, so I'm not even going to go there. It's like people will just find a way. It's like, oh, I'll just have an auto-clicker click every 30 minutes and just keep it going. It's like, that is, like I just said, that's another argument in and of itself. People should not be cheating. People should not be botting. People should not be doing that stuff. When it's easy to do, that's not really on Jagex. or the method itself. It's just people, like, they need to be honest and they need to have integrity. So yeah, that I'm okay with this. I think that they should worry about the fact that people are getting 200 mil skills botting, and some people get a measly 60k XP every 6 hours, which is stupid, but they instantly jump on fixing a stupid 10k per hour method. But literally most profitable things to do in the game are in the absolute trash because they literally will never do a single thing about any type of botting anywhere in the game. Again, I fully agree, and I've been talking about it relentlessly, even to JMods on the cast. I bring it up on every JMod cast. What the fuck is going on with botting? Like, there is an influx of botting, and it is out of control. It's ridiculous. It's just blatant everywhere. There's botting going on everywhere, and nobody seems to give a fuck, and it's pissing me off to death. And they don't care. Like, maybe some people at Jagex care, but overall, they are not showing that care at all because there is so much, and it's actually blatant. It's just so easy. I understand botting will continue to be an issue. I understand that, but there are just so many ways to start fixing this problem right now. I mean, literally, you could just there are people willing to do it for free. I mean, genuinely, Jagex wouldn't even have to pay people. Just give people the ability to find accounts that are botting and ban them. You know, like, it's just make the report button have a function that allows you to see when you've reported a player, when that player gets banned or not. I mean, that would be an amazing tool. When I've asked JMods about that, they say, oh, well, their botting's another issue. It's like, there's no clear answer ever. Like, they just genuinely don't care. And I don't really blame them for not caring either, because, I mean, if you're a JMod, it seems as though most JMods are kind of focused on making the game, not really playing it as much. And not like that's a point that I'm trying to make, but like, it's people still play this game. People are still having a great time playing this game, and there's a fuck ton of botting going on. So why address it? Because botting is just making Jagex a lot more money. The fact that bots are paying membership money to bot, like, they're just making bank, and they're still keeping all their player base. So I don't blame them from a business standpoint, but Jesus Christ, your game is looking like a shit show for real players. But yeah, that is not an argument to say that because this is happening, this is okay. That's just bad. That's not. And if people are like, oh, well, you're not even going to list a reason why that's bad, do I need to do that with every single thing? It's not the same. Like, we can still address bad, unhealthy updates in this game, like Duke mining, and still have this other thing to deal with. That's fine. You don't need to just be like, oh, this big thing is in the game. Botting is a big issue, so don't address anything else until that is solved. Like, come on. Okay. The increase in invisible mining boost would be nice as described, because as somebody who AFK mined a lot of stars to 99, I noticed most stars respawned before I could get through all the layers. So if 1 or 2 people came, I didn't really lose any AFK time. Would definitely message 1 to 2 people to come if they gave me a boost. I know I said I'd more focus on the Duke mining stuff comments, but I totally agree with that. And yeah, like I was saying in the previous ramble, the more I talked about that to myself, the more I enjoyed it. It was like maybe up to 6, maybe up to 10, maybe up to whatever number, give you that extra invisible mining boost. So the star, you can get through the star completely without it despawning. And you'd also have that alternative. Like, you could mine it alone if you were like if you just saw it land and you're like, whatever, I don't really give a fuck about trying to get all my friends over here. So then there's like options, and getting friends over there would make it quicker, but you'd still get all the Stardust and still get all the mining XP you normally would solo. It adds up that 07 Reddit is crying about bots 24/7, but have no problem with botting if they could get away with it themselves. Yes, it's absurd. Every third post on the subreddit is asking, why doesn't Jagex fix the bot problem? It's the most annoying shit ever. Most annoying shit, lol. Literally fatiguing reading the same thing over and over, and the constantly complaining when AFK methods get nerfed. 2007 Scape every now and then puts out good content, especially memes, but from people being 100% okay with Duke mining, crying about must but difficulty on release, and even some suggesting hotkeys for prayers, it truly makes me worried about the future of the game. Even though Reddit, YouTube, and Twitter are the loud minority, it feels like a little over 50% of the player base player base's views generally align with the average Redditor. I feel like, and this is just a thing with Reddit itself, is that there are a handful of people that yell on Reddit, and there is a mountain full of people that just observe. Like, type a 1 down in the comments of this video if you are an observer on most social media. Like, you like just never post anything. You'll just like some things here and there and just quietly observe. A lot of people quietly observe. And then when you see people getting downvoted for stating that something's bad for the game when it is bad for the game, and they just get downvoted to oblivion, who the fuck else wants to comment to say that you know what's going to happen? So this trend continues. It's horrible. And we see it outside of RuneScape entirely. This is the same shit that goes on in real life. Vanilla Coke Zero. It's delicious. We should make tiers of Gothics 5 XP and once per day instead of once per week. That'd be pretty comparable to what the Duke mining was. Keep in mind, lots of people were doing 6 hours when going to sleep, then 6 hours while they work, getting like 120 to 130k XP per day for free. Keep with that in mind, make the tiers of Gothics 10x XP. It's healthy for the game, trust me. Yeah, I don't really understand that one exactly. I think Tears of Gothics is just fine. I'd like for them to revisit the shooting stars mechanic when there's multiple people mining the star. I think so too. I'm totally in agreement with that. At least with that, people could go up to like 25 minutes AFK, so if they don't do it while you sleep. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm completely okay with that. We just already touched on that, so I'll continue. Let's see. I think the anger toward the Duke mining nerfs are being misunderstood, and at the same time, some people are mad at the wrong things. There's no reason to be able to AFK for 6 hours. I have done as much of my XP as possible AFK so far, but I can definitely agree that we don't need to make OSRS fully an idle game. The annoying part of Duke's nerf isn't that they remove 6 hour mining. The annoying part is that they aren't following previous precedents. When 6 hour combat became an issue, they changed it to 20 minutes. Jagex has also said that they are okay with a 25-minute logout timer, so it would make sense that Duke mining would become 20 minutes before stopping. 20-minute AFK for 10k XP would be fine. At the same time, people need to chill out that they can't 6 hour mine, that they need to, and they need to read the full blog post before Jagex is making stars not deplete so quickly with large groups. Star mining not messed up by groups will be insanely AFK, profitable, and give a pet chance. Yeah, so I'm in full agreement with him. I think at least the first part, the 25, if it stopped at 20 minutes, stopped at 25 minutes, whatever the combat one is as well, I'm totally in agreement. Also, I just need to state this. Some people have said, I think it's going to be further in the comments as well. Some people have said like, well, combat, you can just hold spacebar and you can 6 hours. So why not just keep it with mining? I also have a problem with that. I've always been against these kinds of things where you can genuinely stay away from your computer for hours at a time and get XP. That's just wrong. That's against the spirit of old school RuneScape. That's not what old school RuneScape is. Old school is about the grind. It's about, putting in the time, showing off your achievements, and doing things at your keyboard, like playing the game. It's not an idle game. So I'm also I completely disagree. Or sorry, let me restate that. I also don't want splashing to be a thing, or any AFK combat where you can hold your spacebar, because that's considered cheating if something else is holding your spacebar. Like you should literally, like, I don't know. There's like, obviously that's hard to get around because we do have a 25-minute logger, and they've made it so if you just pressing a key for 6 hours, you'll just stay logged in. Maybe they could do something to change that. I mean, that's also just considered cheating, so you should just be banned for doing that. But again, it's undetectable. Jagex cannot detect if it's a robot or your own finger on the keyboard. Like, I don't know. There's a problem with that. But when it comes to combat, I don't have that big of a problem. It's still a problem, but it's not that big of a problem because most people enjoy combat. So, like, people aren't like, oh my God, I gotta do a bunch of combat so I can go back to my fun skilling. It's like, no, it's a complete opposite. So people gaining combat XP generally, yeah, it sucks, but if there's no real way around it besides just actually banning people that are cheating, which is undetectable when you're just holding a fucking spacebar, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it because it's just not worth it. It's not worth my time, not worth my sleep. The Tebow example misses the mark. I agree that 6-hour mining was bad, but they should have kept it at just the log out 25 minutes. I agree. It's already the worst XP in the game, and you get literally nothing. Or make it 5 minutes on the same update as improving shooting stars. Yeah, okay, so the Tebow, there's just going to be another comment talking about the Tebow thing. Yeah, it's the second one. That Tebow comparison to the Duke AFK mining is the most brain dead thing I've ever heard. I was not, if you listen closely to the previous ramble, I was not comparing Duke mining to free Tebows every day. I was comparing the argument, and I was giving the overall bad argument that you hear repeatedly, where if this doesn't affect you, where they say anything, it's basically, and I've heard this with so many different things. It's like anything that somebody disagrees with, they're just like, it doesn't affect you, or why does it affect you? Like, it's not affecting you, so shut up, basically. That's what I was getting at. So I made a very extreme example of just pointing out how that argument, this has nothing to do with Duke mining. It's that argument that this, if it doesn't affect you, then shut the fuck up about it. Nobody cares. But it does affect you. And I just brought up the Tebow example. Like, the Tebow, if everyone was given a free, if you had the choice of claiming a free Tebow every day, how does that affect you? If you can just choose to not accept the Tebow and play your game, just play your game. It doesn't affect you. That's the same argument that you continually hear with a lot of things. It's the fucking most brain dead argument of all time, where it actually, try to explain it. Somebody try to explain why everybody getting a free Tebow every day doesn't affect you, because it doesn't. You can ignore the free Tebows that are given out to the player base, and you can choose not to accept that Tebow and continue on your merry way and enjoy the game just as much. You just have to ignore it. That's the kind of bullshit arguments that we get. And in Duke mining, people are like, it's not affecting you. Like, who cares if somebody's getting 60K free mining XP? It doesn't affect you. It does affect you. It's the same thing with the Tebow. That would affect you. Like, there is an argument. So all of this stuff I'm just trying to say is, yes, these things affect players. I'm not trying to say that the free Tebows every day are the exact same effectiveness, or that would affect you the same as 60K free mining XP if you choose to. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that argument structure of saying this doesn't affect you, because you can continually say, like, for example, you can continue this cycle of saying, if I'm trying to defend the stance that 60K free mining XP is broken for the game, it's unhealthy, I would say, yes, it's unhealthy because players, aren't going to be engaging in other mining methods, and like, oh, well, that doesn't affect you. And then I'll be, okay, well, it sucks because it devalues my accomplishment. It's like, well, stop letting that affect you, man. It's just, no matter what you say, the opposing argument can always be made that it doesn't affect you. Like, stop making it affect you. That's the thing I'm trying to get at. I was not trying to make a direct comparison that these are on equal footing of free Tebows and 60K mining XP. I'm just trying to say that argument is really invalid. It's just bad, that argument that it doesn't affect you, so don't talk about it. Anyway, so I'm sorry if that wasn't made clear. And yeah, I am fully aware those do not equate to the same thing. I'm fully aware of that. So I'm just trying to say, yeah, as I've stated. So you can rewind this video 2 minutes and re-listen to what I just said again instead of me explaining it. Duke mining method was pretty much 120K XP per day for free. 6 hours when someone goes to work and 6 hours when they go to sleep. Def good was taken out of the game. I agree. Now we just need to fix being able to hold spacebar down to stay in combat for 6 hours and bypass the auto retaliate timer. I agree with that. That needs to be looked at. I'm not going to lose sleep over it because it's just something that, like, how are you supposed to fix it? Are you just supposed to make it so you keep having to switch different keys? Actually, that could probably fix it. And then it would be very clear when somebody's botting. Well, clearer. People get away with botting all the time, which is just unfortunate. And the worst part is that now the community is rationalizing it. They think, oh, botting's not actually that bad, right? I mean, it's not that bad to get 6 hours free with just one click, like 60K mining. So now the botters are on like this nicer footing. They're like, oh yeah, even the community doesn't think botting's that bad. Like, look at it. Everyone's saying it's not that bad. So I'm just going to continue botting. And like, you're just going to see more of an influx of botting because now the perception of botting isn't bad. Like, it kind of is, but at the same time, it's kind of not. And we're going to probably step over the threshold entirely where the entire community is like, yeah, botting's fine, guys. Like, it's just a game. It doesn't affect anybody. Yeah, let's fucking go for it. Botting, guys. Like, it doesn't affect you. The botting doesn't affect you. Yeah, very scary. Haven't seen the full video, but the MLM part, what's the point in making the upper level cost 100 nuggets if it's literally going to be the same? There's no looking forward to more AFK time and less chance. Yeah, so I was saying in the video that what if the upper level and the lower level of the MLM Motherlode mine was the same? Like the veins just acted the same. And my response was because the upper mine is just more condensed and closer to the cleaning station. That was it. So there still is a reason to get to that upper level, and that's just to be closer to the cleaning station and to just have more condensed veins right there. So there still is a use to it, but yeah, that's just my only take. And I'm okay if that doesn't happen, but I just think it's a little silly that the whole mine doesn't just work the same and the upper mine isn't just somewhere closer. Like, whatever. I don't even do MLM. I'm just trying to add a little bit of my take to it, which, you know, probably isn't the best take, so I don't really do that content much, but I'm just trying to make it easier and try to make it more like streamlined. Not easier, but just less annoying. It's not like I'm not wanting to make the game easier. I'm just wanting like quality of life and just really breaking down what makes a game fun. Just adding stupid, annoying things to this game is not, that's just like, we can see it for what it is and realize that certain things are just bad for the game. We don't need to die on that hill of like, no, this has always been this way, never change it. It's bad. Okay, the problem why people hate the Duke mining, but also want AFK-ish methods is because all the training methods for agility mining and fishing are terrible after quest cape requirements. What? No, they're not. Not all of them are terrible. I will admit there needs to be a fundamental just like change in the way we look at skilling. I've been talking about this forever, but there's still fine fishing methods. Like there's literally Karambol ones, which is 4.5 minutes of pure AFK, like continually and decent XP. Honestly, I kind of wish they changed it to a repeated key press gets ignored by the game after 10 minutes. Yeah, that would be cool. Like, they could do that. That's exactly what Wizard was trying to say. Like, if you had to press different keys to stay logged in, that would also help. Yeah, that would be fine. That would also help with the combat stuff. Okay. Not having to click on anything for 6 hours while getting free mining XP is literally like botting. How do people not see this? I agree. No matter what, it shows that people really want something to AFK grind mining. Outside high levels or skillers, the majority fucking hate mining. It's tedious, slow, and boring with very little rewards. MLM is the worst kind of AFK where you can't do anything active to speed it up, but is the best pseudo AFK, making it complete garbage. I fully agree with that. And a lot of people do hate mining. That's completely fair. That's what I've been trying to address that, but I got to go in I have to go in like increments, like at least in the way I see mining. Like I brought up the gold horseshoe mine, the very, not this ramble I just made a few hours ago, but the night before or a couple nights before I made a ramble talking about the gold horseshoe. And, you know, people are still just not wanting anything to do with any sort of tick manipulatable item. Like they don't want knife log. They don't want even a gnome cube. They just want to get rid of that. And I agree with that to some extent. I don't think that an item that starts a 3-tick skilling timer is essential for all skilling methods going forward if you want rhythm. Like, I just want rhythm in skilling. I want a nice flow to it. And it has nothing to do with clicking as much as you can or even clicking just a decent amount. Like, it could literally be like the bare minimum of clicking where you only are clicking on the rhythm, you know, just like imagine there was 3-tick mining, but you don't even need to click a knife log or a gnome cube. It's just click on each thing every 3 ticks and don't mess up. Like something like that. Now that wouldn't be the highest XP level method. I'm not claiming that would need to be like the best in slot or anything, but it could still be a really good method. And people, I think, would genuinely enjoy something like that. And maybe there could be some falling rocks or like a little golem's walking toward you and going to explode. So you kind of got to dodge him here and there. And it could be a fun dodge where you could still stay in the rhythm and you could have like certain tile markers marked, like exactly where you could, dodge the golem before it explodes. And, maybe some falling rocks are coming. So you got to dodge the shadows and you're getting really good rewards. Like imagine, there are just ways, these are just simple things. I'm just pulling out of my ass right now, but there's really amazing ways we could have good fun. And let me also say, what's really great about Guardians of the Rift is like there's a flow where you're doing the mini game and then you go mine for 2.5 minutes. Imagine there was a mini game where like you're mining, you click in every 3 ticks or clicking even every 1 tick at certain spots, and then if you've done it successfully, boom, you get a 2-minute AFK or a 3-minute AFK where you just get a chill and your guy's just mining it at a pretty fast pace. And then you got to go back in the cycle again. So it's like the cycle and then a chill 3 minutes where you're hanging out with the boys again, go through your cycle again, chill with the boys. Like there's so many methods that can be like that. And I think Guardians of the Rift really nailed it with that very predictable 2.5-minute mining session. Like that is perfect. That is what people want. They want to be able to just chill for a second and know that they're not going to get fucked. Like, Zaya Essence, those Dark Essence blocks or whatever that just randomly can just switch on you. Like that's annoying. Everybody agrees with that. That's just horrible. And there's no way to speed it up. And if you try to speed it up, you get slowed down. Like there's problems with that. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to make mining, especially way more enjoyable. So yes, there are obviously ways. Blast mining, 3-tick gem. 3-tick gem mining would be a lot more enjoyable if there was something like a gnome cube, or if there was, if you could just start with like a knife log or a gnome cube or whatever, if that was ever introduced. Or it doesn't need to be a gnome cube. It could be any other sort of organic item or holiday item. And then as soon as you're in the rhythm, you just continue that 3-tick cycle without even clicking it. Like it knows you're on the 3-tick cycle. Like imagine something like that. People would be all over that method. 118k XP an hour and, 1 mil GP per hour from the gems. Like people would fucking love that. Like there's ways to get, and I'm not saying that needs to happen that way. I'm just trying to throw out ideas. Personally, if there was a method where you literally just click the rock every 3 ticks and stay in that cycle, maybe it shouldn't be that quite as high of XP. Maybe it should. Who knows? But that's a discussion for another day. But yeah, volcanic mine, of course. MLM and power mining. Okay. Reddit brains don't realize that devaluing a skill devalues it for them as well. Honestly, I think the people who would be impacted the most negatively by that mining method being kept would be the people who were using it. It's detrimental to the game because it devalues your own achievements. I mean, RuneScape is just a grind. We just have to accept that. Like, I even hear I think there's going to be a comment coming soon. Maybe I already read it. I can't remember. There's a comment soon that's like saying like, not everyone plays 12 hours a day. I know that. I don't play 12 hours a day. Like, that doesn't mean just everything should be made completely easier. Like, the beauty of this game is that you're grinding for stuff. Like, just because somebody else across the world can play more than me or more than you, like that doesn't matter. But it doesn't mean we should have botting methods. Like the beauty and the fun and the enjoyment from this game comes from progressing your account, and it feels like you've put in the work. That's the grind. Like that's the grind mentality we all love. Okay, I don't think the Duke mining is as harmful as you do. Not saying it's not harmful to the game, but the majority of people that use the method were the people complaining about it. I'm totally on board with it being nerfed, but it wasn't going to ruin the game either way. I disagree with that last part. It was going to ruin the game. If you could mine it for 25 minutes and then your guy stops mining, or 20 minutes or whatever the hell the number is, 20 or 25 minutes, and your guy stops mining, I'm fully on board with that. That would have been a non-issue. 4.5k mining XP to sit there for 25 minutes. The issue is 6-houring it, and there's no detection between if it's a human or not. So everybody can just do it. Like that. How is that not that is one step closer. I mean, that already is ruining the mining skill. That has now ruined the mining skill. If you come out with a method like that, that ruins the mining skill, because now on your weight, if a person was to max now, it is, okay, listen guys, never mine. Never actually mine, just make that your passive, make that your sleep skill. So now you're never actually going to traditionally mine or do anything any mining minigame or anything, because now within what's the number of days, like 100 days or something, not even 100 days. Actually, I can just calculate this. Oh wait, no, maybe is it 200 days? Whatever. Within a year, I think it's like 2/3 of a year. Whatever the fucking number is, I can't do the math right now. 60K times, okay, around 200 plus days. You would get 99 mining completely passively. And if you did it twice a day, somehow, if you're working, you just never mind. Like that ruins the game. Like, we got to understand that ruins the game, because now, or that ruins the mining skill. And then if people are okay with that and people just get used to that, it's like, okay, why not have a fishing method for that? And it's like, what are we doing? We're not even playing the game anymore. It's just an idle simulator, but it's not old school. I agree that the mining method is bad for the game, but I will point out that you calling it harmful to the game multiple times without explaining why it's harmful. Yes, I agree people shouldn't get 60k XP for a single click, but you need to show what problem that causes. Just some constructive criticism. I know it is the nature of rambles to not be structured or completely thought out, but easy to grasp points and examples will help sway people to your side. Okay, as I just stated, it is harmful to the game, because now you will not mine traditionally. You're trolling, basically. You might as well do everything while you're asleep. You might as well click once, go to bed, and get your mining XP over the course of 2/3 of a year or whatever, and just get free 99 mining. So yeah, that's that is the reason why it's harmful. And the other reason is now people are also starting to feel like, oh, this is acceptable for the game, so let's add more shit like this. And obviously all games are subjective, so there's nothing objectively harmful about any update in the game. I mean, because everyone can have a different view of it. But traditional old school RuneScape was founded on not being able to pay your way into winning, so not having microtransactions, and staying at your keyboard, like playing the actual game. Like every single skill has been based on that foundation, where it's like you got to be at your computer to gain XP. You can't be going to work for 6 hours and just have your guy mining. Like that is what has traditionally been known as botting. And so yes, botting is harmful to the game, and I can go into the list of the reasons why botting is harmful to the game. Everything's subjective, clearly, but yes, botting is harmful to the game. Do I need to go? Let me know if I need to go on to another ramble on why botting is harmful to the game, and I'll make an entirely new follow-up to the follow-up about why botting is against it. But I'm not going to talk about it here, because I feel like most people agree that it's bad for the game. I was hoping for a legitimate argument against Duke Mine, but my man just straight up compared 10k mining XP to free T-bows. I didn't compare Duke mining to free T-bows. I compared the flawed argument that unhealthy updates don't affect other players, as I stated earlier. So you can go back in the video and check out. Not gonna lie, at some point, my first impression of Sebe was that he was some out-of-touch stoner, but every single skilling take coming out of this man's mouth is so good. This guy's awesome. I like this guy, Waldo. Let's fucking go, Waldo. Okay, 60, just nice, yeah. Okay, 60k XP a night would take months to max if done religiously every night. It's like not even religious though. I mean, that was just like the same thing as getting any 99 is religious, but you click once, like you click fucking once on the rock and you gain 60k. Like that we can't be saying that this is hard. Like, yes, doing anything consistently, like getting any 99, playing this game, logging in is hard. Technically, if you log in every single day religiously, like you've earned it. No, even if done 2 times per day, it would still take months. It wouldn't be an issue if mining XP rates weren't so shitty. It also has decently high requirements to get there in the first place. Keep in mind, it is XP without any supply gain. Other than getting toward 99, it only benefits irons by getting them closer to amethyst faster, which is also an incredibly slow way to gather amethyst arrows and dart tips, both of which are outclassed by dragon, which to my understanding do not have a scalable method to obtain them. So it's hard for me to understand this one, Sebe. I'm typically pretty on board with you. I think the right move is to bump Motherlode mine XP per pay dirt mine from the vein about 20%, leave the XP when depositing and cleaning them the same. Add a third floor with a deposit chute that lands next to the where you deposit and clean them into a pile where you can quickly withdraw from and clean. Make this pile hold substantially more pay dirt, like 500 to 1,000 pay dirt when a player comes down from the third floor. So he's just talking about buffing Motherlode mine. I'm not opposed to buffing Motherlode mine. I really am not. I actually think what would be cool is to just have more and more upgrades in Percy's shop. I mean, that guy, Percy, that's his name. Like, just have another thing where it's like, okay, you want to unlock another nice quality of life for Motherlode mine? All right, pay this sum of nuggets. And then, like you said, get a chute that shoots down your stuff to the thing and it can hold 1,000. I'm totally okay with that. You can buff Motherlode mine. I think that's acceptable nowadays. That's totally fine. If people love Motherlode mine and they want, like, there should be a lot of nice quality of life changes made to Motherlode mine, as well as other areas of the game. I think Blast Mine should also be looked at. Like Blast Mine, I think it would be cool to have a reward shop at Blast Mine, so it feels like the more you do it, you can start earning some really big ticket rewards and things that make Blast Mine even easier and stuff. Like that is really fun. The progression, like we see it in PVM, you know, you kill this boss, you get a new weapon that's going to do more damage for the next boss. And like, you know, we kind of have that a little bit with pickaxe upgrades, but that's really the extent of it. Imagine Motherlode mine continually got better and better and better the more you did it. So the more you're doing it, by the time you've maxed out all your upgrades, you're now getting like 30% more XP at Motherlode mine. Like just something where you're continually working toward that next upgrade, Same thing with Blast Mine. Imagine there was a reward that like makes you mine or excavate the little area like 20% faster and then 40% faster and then 60% faster, like max. So by the end of it, instead of 80K XP per hour at 99, you're now getting about 100K or 105K because you've just maxed out your excavation and now you're getting rewards in the shop. It's just like, that would be fun. You're just actually pimping out the minigame that you've chosen to love. Like I like Motherlode mine. I want to stay here. I want to get upgraded for it. Same thing with Blast Mine. I want to get upgraded for this. Same thing with Volcanic Mine. But you got to find balance so nothing's just completely outclassing the other one. Like, you know, we can find balance in that. So I'm totally on board with you. But being able to click once and go to sleep for 6 hours, no, that is not on the table. That's bad. Yeah, the no touch for 6 hour AFK methods aren't really great for the game. I wouldn't mind the salt being 25 minutes. Totally agree. Yeah, the biggest thing is the 6 hours. If everything capped at 25 minutes, I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. If you abuse Duke once a day for 6 hours since release, you'd be close to 3 mil mining XP by now. Surely that's not okay. That's a pass of 200 mil over the course of 8 years or so. Skilling is cringe. I should be able to do it while asleep so I can spend my active time pushing solo CM times. Yeah, okay. Let's see. It's not botting. It's a gray area, just like how people can splash for 6 hours right now. That is botting because you're not at your keyboard. You're having something else hold down your keyboard for you. That should already be changed in the first place, having your keyboard held down, because people will just say, oh, I'll just sleep on my keyboard. Like, come on. Like, come on. In terms of the harm of it, can you please explain what the damage being done was without diving into the whataboutism rabbit hole? Sure, you can find items and rates where it becomes busted, but specifically, what about 10K an hour for a skill like mining would have caused big issues? The big issue is you not playing the game and gaining XP for an entire 6 hours. I've been against that ever since Nightmare Zone was a thing. This is not an idle game. I am okay that we've pushed the boundaries from 5 minutes to 25 minutes. 25 minutes, I think, in 2023 is totally appropriate. Like, you know, there's nothing that crazy that you can do for 25 minutes. 6 hours, however, is really bad for the game because it's idle progress, and this game was not founded on that. It's not. And I've talked about this already, about the problems with updates like this. I've already said, like, one of the downsides is just mining in general. Who's going to want to traditionally mine if you could just have a way to sleep with one click and get 60k mining XP? Like you wouldn't traditionally mine because you'd just be wasting time basically. So it's bad. Again, as I've stated, all of these things are subjective because there's no objective right or wrong for this game. But for the health of old school has thrived for this many years because it's been old school RuneScape. And we got to keep what made it old school RuneScape, which is not making this an idle game, not adding not adding microtransactions, not like there's fundamental things where you can make the argument, what's fundamentally wrong against adding MTX into this game? Like seriously, make an argument for it. It's all subjective at the end of the day. There's nothing objectively bad about adding MTX to this game, but we can all agree that would kill the game because a lot of people wouldn't like that. Okay. While I agree the 60k mining XP while sleeping is stupid and feels dumb, you have to remember that it doesn't devalue anything, but it does. What does it devalue? Motherload mine, all the methods. It devalues all mining. There's no point of mining now because within the time you can get 99 mining passively every night, you can max alongside that and just never touch mining. Your opinion on Duke mining is unpopular. Your main reason against AFK mining is for overall game health, but your reasoning is that AFK mining wasn't old school. People don't want old school skilling. Skilling in OSRs is terribly designed compared to other games. I agree. That should be changed. We should not go down the route of making all skill idle because people don't like it. We should make skilling fun. That's, again, my subjective take. Skills like mining, agility, and RC and OSRs are neither AFK, high XP, or fun. Reasons like that are why most people burn out before they get a chance to truly enjoy the game. Truly enjoy PVM, right? Because all skilling is boring, right? So, yeah, why not just make skilling enjoyable and fun and exciting and rewarding? Claims it's so bad for the game, but fails to list one impact it has. Dudes like Sebe just want their XP high scores protected. We don't all have 12 hours to play. I don't play 12 hours a day. Yeah, that's the reason, guys. I've made this whole thing up. The whole reason is because I want my high scores protected. My 60k mining XP. The only reason I'm against it is because I want my high scores to be protected. What the fuck, dude? One impact. It devalues mining. You're not going to traditionally mine. That's an impact it has. So there's your list. And I've talked about this for the last 40 minutes on other impacts it has. So yes, this game is not meant to be an idle game. It's just not like, no. And I know that's a subjective take, but I feel like the majority of people agree with that. And we should not be going down the route of making this game an idle game. I would say instead of making skills idle, you could still have idle methods up to 25 minutes. That's totally fine. But we should be focused more on making skills enjoyable and fun and engaging. Okay. That seems... Well, I'll just read this. Typical people that have the time to play the game for 14 hours a day want to punish people that don't have that time. Same goes for Jagex. Bots running wild as they punish the regular players. I'm not even going to address that one. Okay, so thank you guys for listening, as always. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.